Mata ji. Hare Krishna Mata ji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Mataji, Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna Mataji.
How you been?
Fine Mataji, how are you?
So, what temple? Which temple you go to there, Mataji and Prabhu?
Mataji, not like we are not connected exactly to ISKCON temple right now, but like we have a temple in front of our house. So that is a Radha Krishna temple, Radha Kunj Vihari. So at that temple in the starting, like ISKCON Prabhuji came for the inauguration, and some Prabhuji's do service over here. So like that, we came in contact with ISKCON. So we used to go to ISKCON Vrindavan monthly basis, sometimes after 2 months like that. But not like as there is no ISKCON over here, so not exactly connected to ISKCON.
So, like, if it's okay to ask, like, where do you come from in India? Like, what city or?
It's Haryana, Rohtak city within Haryana.
There are temples, right? Somewhere in Gurgaon and all those.
Yeah,
places.
yeah. We used to went like sometimes previously go to Gurgaon temple. We used to visit, but not like on regular basis. Yeah, like in Delhi also we used to go.
Is close by? Is it like Gurgaon temple to you or?
Means 2 to 3 hours. Like it's a different city within Haryana, but city is different.
Yeah, that's a kind of little tricky, right? If you don't have a temple in your vicinity.
Jai Mataji for us that we get like a constant association of devotees, like get connected to ISKCON.
So you have like Bhakti Vriksha like that, is it?
No, Mataji, means we used to like join these kind of calls, online calls like Bhakti Song and other, where we get a chance to learn.
So nice. So are you like students or?
No, working.
Yeah, I don't know if we need to wait a little bit more or should we get started? It's like 3 of us. Tulsi Manjri Mataji, Hare Krishna. Nice to have you.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
I'll just give it just 1 or 2 more minutes. I'm hoping if somebody will join.
Hare Krishna Mata ji.
Hare Krishna.
Mata ji, we read books Many Moons written by Giraj Swami Maharaj ji.
Oh, Jai.
About the spiritual masters who have departed. Means very nice books.
Many Moons, is that the one you read?
Yes, ma'am. Many Moons.
Nice, a very nice book. Also, his, the Juhu story, I'll build you a temple, the Juhu story, it's very nice.
Yes, Mataji, we are reading that also.
Yeah. He's coming up with another book, actually. Yeah, there was another one, like solutions for troubled times or something like that, which he wrote during COVID. Now he's writing another book, which is coming. That's what. Okay, we will maybe start off with the invocation prayers and hoping people will join in, trickle in as time goes. Today, maybe I will recite the prayers if it's okay with everybody.
Yes,
Mama. Yeah, sure. Thank you, Mata. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We'll quickly revise these verses which we went through, like, in the past few weeks. And anybody would like to volunteer to recite these verses, please? Tulsi Manjri Mataji, please go ahead.
Shri Shuka Vacha Variyane Shate Prashna Krito Lokahitam Nripa Atmavid Sammata Punsam Shota Vyadishuya Paraha.
Thank you, Mataji. Very nice. Would you like to explain like what this verse means? Or any words, like if you can figure out, we can try to understand the meaning. So it's talking about a prashna, like the question, Krita Loka Hitam Nripa. It's like, I don't know if you recall, like when we were learning this verse, I was referring to the other verse, like Munaya Sadhu Prishtoham verse, which we had seen earlier, when Sutta Goswami actually, he praises the sages of Naimisharanya, right? When they ask the questions like what is the good for the people in the age of Kali, like that. So in a similar vein, in Canto 1 towards end, Parikshit Maharaj asks the questions, what should a person do when he's when he's dying? So that time, so the second canto starts off with answering, Shukadev Goswami answering Parikshit Maharaj. So that time he praises the questions put by Nripa, like the Parikshit Maharaj, the king. And he says that Variya Neshate Prashna Krita Loka Hitam, because it's very beneficial. And Atma with Sammata Pumsam. So it is about, the self-realization. Shrotavyadishu ya paraha. So it is very good. That's what he tries to glorify in this verse. Sri Sukadev Goswami said, my dear king, your question is glorious because it's very beneficial to all kinds of people. The answer to this question is the prime subject matter for hearing, and it is approved by all transcendentalists. Atmavid transcendentalists, Sammata approved. Okay, very nice, beautiful verse. Yeah, anybody would like to recite verse 2?
May I try, Mataji?
Please go ahead, Mata.
Thank you. श्रोतव्यादीनि राजेन्द्र नृणां सन्ति सहस्रशः अपश्यातम् आत्मतत्त्वं गृहेषु गृहमेधिनाम्. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mata. Would you like to comment on the meaning of this verse, Mata?
Shrotavyadini means to hear, Shrota, and Rajendra refers to the king, like Parikshit Maharaj. Nrinam Santi Sahasrashah. Sahasrashah means thousands, like Apashyatam Atma Tattvam. Apashyata means not seen. Atma Tattvam, like the absolute truth. Griheshu Griha Medhina. Griha Medhi means like who are indulged in material activities to fulfill only the material demands of his family. And not engaging in devotional service of Lord.
Yeah, very nice, Mataji. Thank you. Yeah, like Mataji very nicely explained. So, Greshu Griha Medina, one is very attached to like family and material pursuits. So, Shrota Vyadini Rajendranam Santi Sahasrashaha. So, there's so many, matters to discuss, right? Non-spiritual matters to discuss. So, these people who are very attached to material life, they, indulge in discussing all these non-spiritual topics. And Apasheta Mata Tatam, because they don't know the actual spiritual, the transcendental knowledge. Very nice, Mataji. Thank you. Those persons who are materially engrossed, being blind to the knowledge of ultimate truth, have many subject matters for hearing in human society, O Emperor. Let's move on. Any volunteers who would like to recite this verse, please?
Jai Mataji.
Please go ahead, Prabhu.
Nidraya hriyate naktam vyavayna cha vavaya divacharte haya rajan kutumbharena nava.
If you would like to, you can comment on the verse, Prabhu.
Sure, Mataji. Nidraya hriyate naktam. Like the day spent, night is spent in sleeping, nidra, and day is spent in earning money, and kutum bharene va, like fulfilling the needs of family members day and night, like going for earning money for the family in the morning and then at night sleeping and doing sense gratification.
Very nice, Prabhu. You hit the nail on its head, like this. The lifetime of such an envious householder is passed at night either in sleeping or in sex indulgence, and in the daytime either in making money or maintaining family members. Jai. Okay, this one, anybody would like to recite this verse, please? Okay, let me go for it. देहापत्यकलत्रादिषु आत्मसैन्येष्वसत्स्वपि तेषां प्रमत्तो निधनं पश्यन्नपि न पश्यति. So in this verse, would anybody else like to comment on this verse? Or maybe I'll go ahead with it. Dehapatya kalatradishu. So it's referring to attachment to their sons, like apatya, like children, kalatra adishu, like to wife, and adishus, like all the relatives. And here Shukadev Goswami, he calls them atma saineshu, asatsvapi. It says these are the fallible soldiers, because they're not going to help us at the time of the death. But then tesham pramatto nidhanam pashyanapi na pashyati. But because we are illusioned, we tend to think that these are family members or our relatives, our friends, or they are going to protect us, like that we think. And passion apina pashyati. So even though we see that they're not able to do much, but still we think that these people are going to be protecting us, where the Lord is the sole protector, right, for all of us. Nobody can protect us at the time of death except the Lord. Persons devoid of Atma Tattva do not inquire into the problems of life, being too attached to the fallible soldiers, like the body, children, and wife. Although sufficiently experienced, they still do not see the inevitable destruction. Very deep verse. Yeah, any volunteers who would like to recite this verse, please? Yeah, please go ahead, Antonia.
Okay. 2.1.5, right, Mataji?
2.1 1.5. Are you able to see that?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay.
Sarvatma Bhagavan
Yeah, your audio is kind of very shaky. I don't know if it's an internet problem or a mic problem.
Oh, right now.
Yeah, we cannot hear.
This is my gift.
Yeah, you're breaking up a bit.
Bharat Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Harihi Shrotavya Kirtitavyascha Martavyascha Tabhayam.
Jai. Do you want to comment on this verse, Anjane?
No, Mataji, I don't know anything.
No worries at all. So-
Actually, Bhagavan is the supreme personality of Godhead.
Come here. Mic is here.
Bhagavan is the supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna. Then Ishwar is also Krishna, Ishwar.
Yeah, but what does the word Ishvara refer to?
That I don't know, Mama.
Yeah, Ishvara means controller. Okay, in that aspect. The Lord is also the controller, right? Like that. Hmm?
Then I don't know.
Shrotavya, Kirtitavya,
Oh,
Smartavya.
Shrotavya is hearing.
Yes.
And then Kirtitavya is Kirti is same, right?
Yeah, Kirti, glorify. Very nice. Yes. Smartavya is?
Smartavya is hearing. Again.
Shrotavya is hearing. Smartavya?
Yeah, Smartavya is
Satata.
seeing.
Sorry?
Remembering.
Yeah, remembering. Very nice.
And that's all I know.
Very good. Awesome. Let's look at the meaning of what Prabhupada has translated. Oh, descendant of. Do you want to read the translation too? Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Translation. Synonyms of translation, Mataji.
Translation is good enough.
Okay. O descendant of King Bharata, one who desires to be free from all misery, must hear about, glorify, and also remember the personality of Godhead, who is the super soul, the controller, and the savior from all misery. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, you saw how many qualities, or you can say how the Lord has different qualities, or it describes the nature of the Lord too by these words: Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead; Sarvatma, the Super Soul; Ishvara, the Controller; Harihi is the Savior from all miseries. So the Supreme Lord does all these functions. So he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is always enjoying in his spiritual abode. But at the same time, in his Paramatma feature, Ishvara, potency, and also his potencies, he uses various different, he comes as different incarnations to protect his devotees, like deliver, his devotees. And so the Lord does so many different functions, right? With many of his energies, internal energies. Yeah, very nice. Anjaneya, we missed you last week. Okay. This verse, any volunteers would like to recite this verse, please? Okay, Anjaneya. Okay. Anjaneya, would it be okay if I give Tulsi Manjri Mataji and you can do the next verse?
Yeah, Mataji, that's fine.
Okay. Tulsi Manjri Mataji, would you like to go ahead, please?
Oh, okay. Etavan Sankhya Yogabhyam Swadharma Parinishtaya Janmalabha Parapumsam Ante Narayana Smritihi.
Yeah, Mataji, would you like to comment on this verse?
Well, Yogabhyam is like mystic power, isn't it? Like knowledge, mystic power, like
Yeah, mystic, like engaged in Ashtanga Yoga. Yeah.
Yes. Like Swadharma is like it's like a duty, like your dharma, like occupational duty.
Yeah, engaged in Karma Yoga in one sense.
Yeah. Yes. Parinishtaya is like perception. Janma, birth. Labha, gain, is like Paraha is the supreme, Narayana is of course Lord Krishna. Smritihi is like remembering. So
very nice, Mataji. Yeah. So this verse is saying even if you engage, in Sankhya Yoga, like the philosophical study, of the soul and matter, or engage in yoga or, karma yoga, like just doing your occupational duties very, very, faithfully. But the Janma Labha, or the purpose of all this must be for Ante Narayana Smriti. So while at the time of death, you want to remember the Lord. So all these yogas must actually come to that, like they should culminate at Ante Narayana Smriti. That's what is being explained very nicely in Mataji translated. O King, constant. Okay, sorry. I don't think I have the translation for this verse here. But that's what that verse actually means. Or maybe I have it here. Yeah. The highest perfection of human life achieved either by complete knowledge of matter and spirit, by practice of mystic powers, or by perfect discharge of occupational duty is to remember the personality of Godhead at the end of life. Okay. These are the verses we'll be looking at today. I have like strange. Oh, we didn't do this, is it? Did we do this the last time or no? I thought we did it.
Yes, Mataji, we did this until Narayan Smriti last week.
Yeah, then I thought I had three more verses here. They're all the same number. And that's right. Okay. There is one more verse. I thought, okay, never mind. Let's continue with this. So these are the two verses we will be covering today, like the new verses for today. Any volunteers who would like to recite after me, please? Yeah, Anjana, you have your hand raised from earlier or now?
Oh no, I can read Mataji.
Okay, yeah, your voice is a little too feeble. Can you come closer to the mic, please?
Is this good, Mataji?
Yeah, just a little bit more,
Loudly. Is this good?
Okay, yeah.
Come here. Come closer to this.
Etan?
Etan nirvidyamana.
Okay, you want to repeat after me, okay? The words, okay? We're trying to learn this verse, okay? Is that a good idea?
Yeah.
Okay, Etan
Etan
nirvidyamananam
nirvidyamananam
ichhatam
ichatam
akuto bhayam
akuto bhayam akuto bhayam
yoginam nripa nirnitam harer namanukirtanam. Okay, any difficult words? Nirvidyamananam. Is that a little tricky for any of you? Nirvidyamananam. It's not too bad, right? Ichhatam akuto bhayam yoginam nripa nirnitam hare namanukirtanam. Okay, let's try to do line by line. Etan nirvidyamananam.
Etan nirvidyamananam.
Etan nirvidyamananam.
Etan nirvidyamananam.
Etan nirvidyamananam.
Etan nirvidyamananam.
Ichhatam akuto bhayam.
Ichatam akuto bhayam.
Ichhatam akuto bhayam.
Ichatam akuto bhayam.
Yoginam nripa nirnitam.
Yoginam nripanirnitam.
Yoginam nripa nirnitam.
Yoginam nripanirnitam.
Hare Namanukirtanam.
Hare Namanukirtanam.
Hare Namanukirtanam.
Hare Namanukirtanam.
Etanirvidyamananam.
Etanirvidyamananam.
Ichhatamakuto bhayam.
Echatam akuto bhayam.
Yoginam nripanirnitam.
Yoginam nripanirnitam.
Yeah, nripa is a little difficult, right? It's like three consonants together. N, R, and pa, and like na, ra, and pa. Yoginam nripanirnitam.
Yoginam nripanirnitam.
Hare Namanukirtanam.
Hare Namanukirtanam.
Etanirvidyamananam.
Etanirvidyamananam.
Ichhatamakuto bhayam.
Echatamakutho bhayam.
Yoginam nripanirnitam.
Yoginam nripanirnitam.
Hare Namanukirtanam.
Hare Namanukirtanam.
Etanirvidyamananam.
Etanirvidyamananam.
Ichhatamakuto bhayam.
Echatamakutho bhayam.
Yoginam nripanirnitam.
Yoginam nripanirnitam.
Hare Namanukirtanam.
Hare Namanukirtanam.
Very sweet verse, right? Any words stand out to you, Anjaneya?
Yeah. Etat is it. It is. Akuto bhayam is you are freed from all of your fear. Then yoginam is those who are self-satisfied. Nirnitam is the truth that was already made before you were born. Then Hare is Krishna, Nama is the holy name, and then Kirtanam is chanting.
Yeah, very beautiful. You almost like you touched upon all the words. Anybody else? Any words you would like to, that stand out to you here? Any other? Anybody else would like to comment? Yeah, so like Anjaneya very nicely pointed out the meanings of the words. Etan nirvidyamananam. So nirvidyamananam is referring to people, who don't have any kind of material desires. Ichhatam is referring to people who are desiring for material, needs, whatever they would like wealth, fame, name, all those kind of things. Akuto bhayam, like he rightly said, without no, it's without any doubt and fear. Yoginam nripanirnitam. Yoginam is referring to the yogis, like who perform like Ashtanga yoga, like that. Nirnitam. So eta nirvidyamana. Yoginam nripanirnitam. Nirnitam is like he rightly said, it has been decided by whom? Hare Nama Anukirtanam. What has been decided? That Hare Nama is the way to go. Anukirtanam. Anu is referring to in the path of the great transcendentalists. So this has been established by great transcendentalists that, Hare Nama is the way to go for any, even if you have, it's very similar to the Akama Sarva Kama verse. Even if you have no material desires, or if you have material desires, or if you're engaged in yoga, Hare Nama Anukirtanam is the way to go. Let's look at the translation. O King, sorry, anybody would like to recite the synonyms and the translation, please? Bharat Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Synonym. Etat, it is. Nirvidyamananam, of those who are completely free from material desires. Ichhatam, of those who are desirous of all sorts of material enjoyment. Akuta bhayam, free from all doubts and fear. Uh,
Yoginam.
Yoginam, of all who are self-satisfied. Nripa, O king, Nirnitam, decided truth, Hare of the Lord, Shri Krishna, Nam, holy name, Anu, after someone, always, Kirtanam, chanting. Translation. O king, constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord after the ways of great authorities is doubtless and fearless way of success for all, including those who are free from all material desires, those who are desirous of material enjoyment, and also those who are self-satisfied by dint of transcendental knowledge. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Such a beautiful verse, right? It is so many verses in the Bhagavatam are referring to the same truth, right? Like how Hare Nama is so sublime and it is like the mantra for the age of Kali, which Prabhupada has so mercifully given to all of us. So the Shastras are repeatedly in so many different ways are, emphasizing on this very fact that it's important to Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, like we were doing in the previous verse. All these are so important, right? So again and again, the Shastras are emphasizing these things. Okay, we are moving on to the chapter 2. So in chapter 2 of Canto 2. So in Canto 2, actually, there's more details given on how Shukadev Goswami describes, at least towards the end, we see how the Lord actually preached to Lord Brahma. He gave this transcendental science to Lord Brahma because when Lord Brahma was sitting on the lotus, he didn't know it was all darkness around him. So the Supreme Lord actually gave through his heart this knowledge, the transcendental science. So this Canto 2, in the first chapter, it talks about like the universal form or the Virata Rupa of the Lord, like how some people, they, take to that form of the Lord. They would like to see the Lord's Virata Rupa and they consider the Lord to be like all powerful, all, he supplies everything and he is the end all of everything like that, So they would like to subscribe to that view. People who are, who may not have too much belief in like the personal form of the Lord, they would like to see that form, the Virat Rupa form of the Lord makes more sense to them, like in terms of like impersonalists, they like to see the Lord in that way. And then this chapter 2 is talking about how Ashtanga yogis, the yogis who see the Paramatma form of the Lord in the heart, how they meditate and then how they can, actually go back to Godhead. And in the third chapter, in second canto, will describe about devotees who are in pure devotional service to the Lord. So, the different stages, like from the Brahman in personal realization to the yogis to the devotees. So these are like the first 3 chapters in Canto 2, they are covering these aspects. So towards the end, this is the final verse of the chapter 2, which deals with actually the yogis who meditate on the super soul or the Paramatma feature of the Lord. And let's see what this verse is saying. I'd like one volunteer if they can recite after me, please. Okay, Anjaneya is our enthusiastic reciter here. Pibanti.
Pibanti.
Ye.
Ye.
Bhagavata.
Bhagavata.
Sorry, Bhagavata.
Bhagavata.
Atmana.
Atmana.
Satam.
Satam.
Kathamritam.
Kathamritam.
Shravana.
Shravana.
Puteshu.
Puteshu.
Sambritam.
Sambritam.
Punanti.
Punanti.
Te.
Te.
Vishaya.
Vishaya.
Vidushitashayam.
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 Vrajanti.
Vrajanti.
Tatcharana.
Tatcharana.
Saroruhantikam.
Saroruhantika.
Saroruhantikam.
Saroruhantika.
Yeah, very nice. Any words which are Vidushitashayam? Vidushitashayam.
Oh, we do. Where are you reading it from, Mataji?
Yeah, here. Can you say the screen? Vidushitashayam.
Vidushitashayam
Saroruhantikam.
Saroruhantikam
Samhritam.
Samritam
Kathamritam.
Katamritam.
Okay, the other words are not too bad, right? I mean, not too tough, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's try to recite this line by line. Okay. Pibanti ye bhagavata atmana satam.
Pibanti Bhagavata Atmana Satam.
Pibanti ye bhagavata.
Pibanti Bhagavata
Bhagavata.
Bhagavata.
Pibanti ye bhagavata.
Pibanti Bhagavata
Atmana satam.
Atmana Satam.
Pibanti ye bhagavata.
Pibanti Bhagavata
Atmana satam.
Atmana Satam.
Pibanti ye bhagavata.
Pibanti Bhagavata
Atmana satam.
Atmana Satam.
Pibanti ye bhagavata atmana satam.
Pibanti Bhagavata Atmana Satam.
Kathamritam shravana.
Katamrita Shravana.
Kathamritam shravana.
Katamrita Shravana.
Puteshu samhritam.
Puteshu Samritam.
Puteshu samhritam. Are you there? Kathamritam shravana puteshu samhritam.
Puteshu Shravana.
Yeah, Kathamritam shravana puteshu samhritam.
Katamrita Shravana. Puteshu Samritam.
Kathamritam shravana puteshu samhritam.
Katamritam Shravana. Puteshu Samritam.
Punanti te vishaya.
Punanti te Vishaya.
Punanti te vishaya.
Punanti te Vishaya.
Vidushitashayam.
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 Punanti te vishaya vidushitashayam.
Punanti te Vishaya Vidushitashayam.
Punanti te vishaya vidushitashayam.
Punanti te Vishaya Vidushitashayam.
Vrajanti tacharana.
Rajanti Tacharana.
Vrajanti tacharana.
Rajanti Tacharana.
Vrajanti tacharana.
Rajanti Tacharana.
Saroruhantikam.
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 Okay, let's do line by line again. Pibanti ye bhagavata atmana satam.
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 Kathamritam shravana puteshu samhritam.
Katamritam Shravana Puteshu Samritam.
Kathamritam shravana puteshu samhritam.
Katamritam Shravana Puteshu Samritam.
Punanti te vishe vidushitashayam.
Punanti te Vishya Vidushitashayam.
Punanti te vishaya vidushitashayam.
Punanti te Vishya Vidushitashayam.
Vrajanti tacharana saroruhantikam.
Prajanti Tacharana Saroruhantikam.
Vrajanti tacharana saroruhantikam.
Prajanti tacharana saroruhantikam.
Pibanti ye bhagavata atmana satam.
Pibanti ye bhagavadatmana satam.
Kathamritam shravana puteshu samhritam.
Svakatamrita Sravana Puteshu Samrita.
Punanti te vishaya vidushitashayam.
Punantite Veshya Vidushitashayam.
Vrajanti tacharana saroruhantikam.
Ratankita Tatcharana Saroruhantikam.
Jai, very nice, Anjaneya. Any words stand out to you in this verse? There's so many words, right, which we are kind of familiar.
Nothing. Thank you.
No worries. Let's ask other devotees. Welcome, Nityanarsimha Prabhuji. Would you like to comment any words which look familiar to you?
Hare
Or
Krishna
anybody
Mataji.
else too?
Yes.
Hare
Pibanti
Krishna.
means drinking, Mataji.
Mhm.
Pibanti. And Atmana, Atma means Atmaha. Satam is devotees.
Satam prasangam.
Yeah.
Mama virya sannidhi.
Kathamrita, the Katha of Lordship. Shravana,
So
hearing.
what are they drinking here?
Bhagavatam.
Yeah, but what are they drinking in this verse? The Kathamritam, right? Amritam,
Kathamrita. Yes,
the
Mataji.
nectar. Yeah, very
Nectar
nice.
of
Yeah.
the Lordships or the pastimes of the Lordship.
Jai.
Shravana, that is hearing.
Shravana
Puteshu, I don't know.
Puteshu?
Puteshu. Any hint, Mataji?
Yeah, where do we hear from?
From ears.
Yeah, so that's referring to the ear holes. Very nice, Prabhu. Yeah.
Samratam is maybe happiness, Mataji. When we
Some is what? Like usually it's used in what sense? Like Sankirtan, like we have like
some kid, okay.
some is usually referring to
Conclusion or
like complete, like that, right?
completion, Samratam.
Yeah, so Samratam is like, you know,
Yes.
like overflowing in your ears, like the katha. Very nice. Prabhu.
Ecstasy. Or something. Okay.
Filled with, the ears are filled
filled
with the nectar.
True.
Yeah.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. And Vishaya is sense gratification, Mataji. Vidushitam. This is a very familiar word.
Vidushitashayam. So Vishaya is what? It is Dushita. Dushita means?
Opposite of Dushita means negative word.
Yeah.
Pollution.
It's like, you know, Vidushita, all the material contamination, like you said, Vishaya is referring to material. Punanti is what then?
Punanti is here. Putesh. Acha, Punanti. Punanti also familiar word, but not recollecting what is that.
So when you have all this material contamination, what does it do? Punanti
material contamination leads to ignorance or
yeah, but what does the Kathamritam do?
it will purify.
Yeah, Punanti is purify. So Punanti purify, we can try to remember. Very nice, Prabhu. And what is the last line saying? Vrajanti?
Vrajanti, is it related to Vrajadham, Mataji, or
Yeah, what does Vraja mean? Vrajanti mean? Anybody else would like to comment what Vrajanti means?
Vrajanti means the Vrajavasis?
Yeah, to go, like that's what Vrajanti means, right? To move or to go. Yeah. Tat Charana?
Charana is lotus feet.
Saroruhantikam.
Saroruhantikam. This also means.
What are the lotus feet like? The Supreme Lord's lotus feet are. Yeah, I'm saying lotus feet and asking lotus.
So it is.
Charana Saroruhantikam. Yeah,
So,
it's a beautiful verse, right?
Lord's feet is like lotus, like that, Mataji.
Yes,
I just
yeah.
guessed, Mataji. I don't know anything, but I just guessed it and you supported. Thank you.
Yeah, Saroruhasanam, like, you know, Lakshmi Devi is also, you know, described like that, you know, Saroruhasani, like she sits on the lotus flower. like that.
Yeah.
So Saroruha also is lotus, it's another name for so many names, right? For lotus, Pankajas, and then Padma, so many names are there for lotus. Saroruhantikam is also, Charana Saroruhantikam is referring to the lotus feet of the Lord. So, Pibantiye Bhagavata Atmana Satam Kathamritam Shravana Puteshu Samritam. So, this verse is very nicely, like Prabhuji explained almost all the words here in this verse. So, by drinking this nectar of Kathamritam, when the ears are filled, Shravana Puteshu, the ear holes are filled with this nectar. What happens? Punantite Vishya Vidushitashayam. So, all this material contamination, all that we get purified. And what happens as a result of that? Vrajantita charana saroruhantikam. Then we can approach the lotus feet of the Lord. That's what this beautiful verse is talking about. I'd like to know if any volunteers would like to read the synonyms and translations, please.
Should I continue, Mataji?
Yeah, you can probably.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Pibanti, who drink, ye, those, Bhagavataha, of the personality of Godhead, Atmana, of the most dear, Satam, of devotees, Katha Amritam, the nectar of the messages, Shravana Puteshu, within the ear holes, Sambratam, fully filled, Punanti, purify, Te, their, Vishaya, material enjoyment, Vidushita Asayam, polluted aim of life, Vrajanti, do go back, Tat, the Lord's, Charana, feet, Saroruha, Antikam, near the lotus. Translation, those who will drink through oral reception, fully filled with the nectarian message of Lord Krishna, the beloved of the devotees, purify the polluted aim of life known as material enjoyment, and thus go back to Godhead, to the lotus feet of Him, the personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna Mandir.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to bring, attention to this word. It's Bhagavataha, not Bhagavataha, because Bhagavata could refer to the devotees or, the book Bhagavatam like that. So here we are referring to the personality of Godhead himself. So it's Bhagavataha. We can try to pay attention to this word. So, yeah, very beautiful verse, which again is describing how Shravanam, the process of Shravanam, actually helps us to go closer to the lotus feet of the Lord. And without, we can end this material distress and go towards the lotus feet of the Lord. So, yeah, maybe it's perhaps a good time to pause here for this week. And would anybody like to share their realizations or comments or any questions you have? Okay, let me try to recite the 2 verses we learned today, and then we can recite Vaishnava Pranamantra. Etanirvidyamananam ichhatamakutto bhayam yoginam nrapanirnitam hare namanukirtanam. Etanirvidyamananam ichhatamakutto bhayam yoginam nrapanirnitam hare namanukirtanam. Etanirvidyamananam ichhatamakutto bhayam yoginam nrapanirnitam hare namanukirtanam. Okay, the next verse. Pibanti ye bhagavata atmana satam kathamritam shravana bhuteshu samhritam punanti te vishaya vidushitashayam vrajanti tacharana saroruhantikam. Pibanti ye bhagavata atmana satam kathamritam shravana bhuteshu samhritam punanti te vishaya vidushitashayam vrajanti tacharana saroruhantikam. Pibanti ye bhagavata atmana satam kathamritam shravana puteshu samhritam punanti te vishaya vidushitashayam vrajanti tacharana saroruhantikam. So very nice verse with this meditation. Maybe we will pause here for this week. We'll recite the Vaishnava Pranam Mantra. Pancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripasindhubhyo Chapatitana Pavane Manoma Antakoti Vaishnavindi Ki Jai Namaste. Yes, Nitinam Prabhu, you have a question?
Mataji, again here like reciting the sloka, what is that flow, Mataji? Because it is something different in 2.2.37. What is
Yeah,
that?
this. Mhm.
Hmm,
I am not sure of the meter of the verse. I
meter,
mean, if
yes.
you want to know what chanda, I mean, what meter is being followed here, I can look it up, Prabhuji. But definitely, like you mentioned, it's a different meter than this one. This it looks like Anushtup Chandaha, like the usual, Eta Nirvidya Mana, the 8-syllable one. But this one is, a different meter, like I recited it. Pibantiye Bhagavata Atmana Satam. So it's a different meter, like you rightly said.
Actually, I don't know any meter, Mataji, but I want to know, get into it. What is that? Because each sloka, when the meter is proper, the melody and sweetness is different. So that's why
Yes,
I want to know, because there are so many slokas and different devotees recite differently. Of course, all are, but I want to know what is the correct, like how to apply when, where, like that, Mataji. Just
Yeah,
inquisitive.
it basically how it's done is based on the number of syllables, Prabhuji. But even when there are a number of syllables, like here, if we take this easier one, Etan Nirvidya Mana Nam, this one is like the 8-syllable one. But in this also, you can set it to different melodies. Like, they may recite it as Etan Nirvidya Mana Nam Ichatama Kuto Bhayam, or I can even recite it in a different melody. Etan Nirvidya Mana Nam, like that I can recite it. Like there are many melodies that is setting to different tunes, but that meter, it should fit in that, meter, like, because this is 8-syllable.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you.
So,
Thank you, Mataji.
Etan Nirvidya Mana, Etan Nirvidya Mana Nam. So, there's 8 syllables if you count in
Yes.
the each line. So, that is that Anushtup Chanda, which is like the common meter. So usually the meter is based on the number of syllables, P Banti.
Yeah, here more syllables are there, Mataji, in 37.
Yeah, I'm getting an odd number of syllables. Maybe I'm doing P Banti Bhagavata Atmanasa Tam. So I'm getting, maybe it's a 12 or 13, maybe I'm missing a syllable. So how they calculate the syllables also is, we have to learn, like, from a Sanskrit expert like that, like how you work out like the syllables of this verse like that. So I'm not a Sanskrit expert. I'm just trying to learn the shlokas by using Prabhupada's books.
Maybe
So,
Mataji, maybe Amrinder Prabhu is a Sanskrit Pandit, it seems. Maybe you can get something from him, Mataji, if you are close to
yeah,
him.
maybe a Hari Parshad Prabhu. He's
Hari
like a
Parshad
very,
Prabhu.
yeah.
Okay. In general, Mataji, I'm not asking for this sloka, but like there are 18,000 slokas. Like maybe if some important slokas, how to recite what, so that makes means learning in right way. That's why I asked Mataji. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, Prabhu. I can look up what meter this is in. I can ask those Prabhus, like
Thank you,
what
Mataji.
meter. But how I do it is, basically there are 3 or 4 meters which are commonly used, Prabhuji. So it will fit into one of those. There's that Shardula something it's called, like that that verse from what is that? Sad Goswami Ashtakam. Krishnot Kirtana that verse is in a different meter. So like that, there are 4 or 5 meters, Prabhuji. Like in Bhagavad Gita, there are some long meter verses. And then there's also, the verses can be recited in like the Brahma Samhita, how they are recited those prayers. Like, so that is another. So there are basically 4 or 5 meters which are very commonly used, Prabhu. So it kind of tends to fit into those, like if you learn 4 or 5 meters. Yeah, so depending
those 5
on
meters, I want to understand, whatever minimum, so that we can play around and put it into the proper meter. Because when we put it into the proper meter, the melody is entirely different. And if you don't follow the meter, then I don't know where, because I don't know anything about Sanskrit. Whatever Prabhupada ji has given word to word meaning, that only we run around. I go through just by hearing from various devotees only I come to know Mataji. But if we know with the proper Sanskrit metering, that will be more beneficial, I feel, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Sure, Prabhu. Like, I think for our purposes, if we know like those 3 or 4 meters, that should suffice. And how I go about it is I just read it and see it fits into what meter. So like I was just reading this verse and I said, okay, this does not fit into, like the Brahma Samhita meter or the other meter. So this one fits well. So that's how I do it. Like I'm not doing it in a scientific way or anything. I just read the verse and say, okay, if I recite it this way, it sounds good.
Like
So-
Mataji, you gave little pause after Pibanti Bhagavata, then you gave pause and Atmana Satam. It is actually good because whole line we cannot at one stretch we cannot say. If we say, then that melody goes. So that's why I want to know where to stop, when to stop, how to. So as you said, you did means different ways and finally concluded this will be good. Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Yeah.
Actually, thinking of it, Prabhu, we can also sing it in the Brahma Samhita meter. I was just thinking, I can put this like in any meter like that, but I thought that one was the meter that first came to my mind. Like you can also sing it like Pibanti ye bhagavata atmana satam kathamritam shravana puteshu sambratam punanti te vishaya vidushitashayam vrajanti tacharana saroruhantikam. So kind of, following that same tune, but not the same meter as the Brahma Samhita. So it's like the same raga, if I can call it, but it's not the same meter. But you saw how I kind of fit it into that same raga.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, but
Thank you.
so it's, I don't know, I just do it intuitively more than scientifically, Prabhu. But let me try to find out those 4 or 5 meters which are commonly sung. That way you will have an idea of which meter to follow for which. And
Yeah,
these
thank-
verses, if you want to figure what meter, you just follow somebody who has recited them, Prabhu, and just follow after them. So that's how we learn.
Okay, Mataji. Okay, Mataji.
Mhm.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Anybody else has any questions, or we can pause for today? Yeah, it's 8:20 already here. Thank you so much, dear devotees, for joining. We'll all meet next week with another set of verses from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna. Yeah, I'll be closing the call now.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Bol, Anjneya.